All right, everybody, happy Memorial Day weekend. It is your End Zone Emcees. We back at it again, coming live from the bedrooms. Your boy Yogi and you. I'm one of your hosts, along with my boy Hamilton James.
What
With
up?
us today, we have a special guest, Dev. How are we doing today? How you feeling?
Hi everyone. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm doing
Great. Now
good. I
that you're
can't
here.
complain.
Yeah, and we got But we love to have more of our artist interviews coming on to End Zone MCs. So it's another thing we've liked to experiment with recently. So we love to have the accompaniment. With that being said, we're going to ask Deb about her artistry. She just had a recent project come out not too long ago, Bittersweet, on all platforms. We're going to ask more about her background and what her inspirations are, etc. So without further ado, Dev, first of all, thank you for coming on and joining us today here at End Zone MCs. We're pleased to have you.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, and then I want to get start off with. I know that I met you mutually through David, and coming to the Creative Collective events, which we really appreciate. How long have you been an artist? How long have you been into music yourself?
Yeah, so probably sounds like a cliche of like, since I could walk, I've been doing music. Um but basically, I always like sang all my life, like when I was a little girl and like stuff like that. And then I started doing vocal lessons around like 8 years old. And then Noah, you and I talked a little bit about this. I think when you first interviewed me about how like I kind of wasn't doing music for a while and I kind of was like going back and forth with that. And so I would say like my whole life I've always done music, but I would say really like recently, like seriously doing music, like being an artist has probably only been like not even a year. Because I stopped doing music for like 5 or 6 years, like a really long time. And then my manager, David, actually is the person that like had me start music again. So I probably like overall, like maybe 10 years of like off and on. But like seriously making music, I started performing again in like December of last year. The open mic at Guitar Merchant, that first one was like my first performance after like 5 years, I think. So yeah.
Hell yeah, Devin. And also, Ham, if you have anything to like follow up as far as a question or anything, any thoughts, feel free to chime in. Um,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just on that first question alone, I know you've been making music for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Just because um, I know your family, and
Yeah.
so I
I
kind
know
of
her family.
I know your family. Shout out to your brother. It's funny. Your brother actually gave me one of my first interviews. 6 or 7 years ago. On his platform. So shout out to your brother for real, for real. Always been solid. A great rapper. Been rapping since, like you
Amazing.
say, you've been rapping since you were 10 years old. I believe it because I met your brother in ninth grade, and he was already like 2 albums in. So
Yeah.
he's, you know what I'm saying. So I guess my follow up question, leading into that, would be, how do you separate yourself, knowing who your family is, but still trying to keep in your own lane, still trying to make it dev.
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, so my brother and I like best friend. Like me and my brother are so close. And it's actually funny that you bring this question up because when I first was like, I sang my whole life or whatever, but like you said, my brother is like, everyone knows Lil G in the Valley, like everyone knows him. And so when I was young, I was like, oh, like I admired him so much. And I sang, but I didn't create or anything really yet. I
Mm.
started really writing songs when I was like 16. And so, the whole like separating yourself type of thing, I think I just had to realize that, you know, I didn't have to do exactly what my brother was doing to also like, showcase my talent and everything because like you said, my brother is absolutely insane. Like the rapping and then he plays like 5 instruments and all these things. And so, I'm the baby of my family as well. So I think I was, there can kind of be an intimidation there of like, can I amount to that and all these things. So I think I really just started I kind of had to just jump off the deep end and just start writing because a lot of what like can hold me back is my perfectionism. I'm very much like I don't want to start creating a project if it's not going to be this or something like that. So I think I had to just let myself just when you write a song you can go back and edit it. Like it's not there forever. And so I kind of had to just be like, okay, Devin, like if it's not perfect, like you will live, like you are not going to die. So I kind of had to just like let myself create. And then once I started creating is kind of when I found my own and I was like, okay, like, me and my brother, like we're good at collaborating together, but like now I know my lane and like my sound. And I think as an artist too, you kind of never stop discovering yourself. Like, you know, the music I wanted to make, I don't know, like a year ago might be different than like what I want to make tomorrow, or,
That's
you know,
facts.
something like that. So yeah, I feel like I just really had to like let myself be, which is very hard for me. I have like, I want to be able to control it all. Um, so yeah, but like I basically was like, let me just create. And then once I did, I really started finding my sound. And now that I'm back into music as well, I think I'm still kind of in that area of like, okay, what do I want to do, you know, type of thing. But yeah, so I kind of just had to like do my thing. And then once I really started like getting into it, I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm a bad bee. Like I know what's happening, you know.
Hell yeah. Love the attitude. Love the attitude. And that's what it's all about. Like, I've always thought that art, like, being a creative is all about experimentation, or at least it's a lot of it to me. I've
Mhm.
always thought about, like, learning new things that I'm, like, thought about creating that I never thought I would come across, you know? So it's very
Mhm.
interesting path to stumble upon in your artistry.
Yes.
But speaking of, you recently said that you were getting back into your artistry not too long ago, and you were like you've been doing more performances. Um, is there like a certain performance that stood out to you? Is there a favorite performance that you've had so far?
These are great questions.
Thank you.
I'm like, hmm. Well, so like you said, like I just started performing. Honestly, I think my most or my favorite, well, okay, can I say two or is that cheating?
No, go ahead.
Go
Okay.
actually, Dad. If give us the one Noah asked, and then if you could, if it's not the same, give us the show that you did or performance that you did that made you feel like, okay, yeah, now I'm locked in. Like, oh, this is what I really need to do.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, yeah, that's good.
Okay. So yeah, yeah, period. We're doing good. I'm enjoying this vibe. Okay, so for Noah's question, so I will have to say two, but then I have another one for your question, Hamilton.
Okay.
So the first one, I think just vocally I sounded really good was actually the last open mic at Guitar Merchant. I think it was May 17th. It was like a couple, maybe 2 weeks ago now.
Mm. Oh yeah,
And
I
I
was there. Okay.
performed, yeah. Oh, I performed My Fault from Bittersweet, my new EP. And like, I don't know, I think maybe because like the project was out, or maybe it was just the energy. And I don't know. And it was funny that it was such a great performance because it was such a chaotic day. Like I was like at work for longer and I was late. And like I thought the performance wasn't gonna be that great because I was like really stressed out prior to. But it was just really, really beautiful. I really, really enjoyed it. So I think to date that would be my favorite performance, and just like the best vocally and everything. Because I do vocal lessons weekly on Thursdays. So I've really been like really, really working hard on like, you know, getting my tone and like doing vocal exercises and like stuff
Mm.
like that. Um, and then another performance that I just loved was I had a birthday party in March. I love Coraline, so it was like Coraline themed or whatever. And so I did like a 7-minute performance of like a cover of from Melanie Martinez. That's one of my favorite artists. And it was like a 7-minute performance with like choreo, like wireless microphone, dancers, like it ate. Like it was so good. And it's on YouTube, so I can link anyone if they want
Yeah,
to see it.
definitely.
But it was just really good. And I think after, you know, I haven't danced and sang in a long time, and it was really great and it was fun. And I think it was like I can become kind of militant with music because I'm like a perfectionist and I'm like, you know, I'm serious about this and it needs to be this, and this. And I forget sometimes that like performing should be fun, you know, like there should be that aspect to it, you know. So I absolutely loved that performance. Like I had so much fun, and I really want to dance more. I used to dance when I was young as well. So I liked that I got to sing and dance because a lot of like my performances you guys have seen are like, you know, low and like, you know, all whatever I be doing. But I personally like doing choreo and dancing, or singing and dancing more. So yeah, I would say My Fault, the open mic was like I think my best performance to date, but I think my most fun was like the birthday one. That was like the time of my life. So yeah.
Right on.
That's what's up.
Um,
Yeah, the creative collective like events are, I would call them intimate. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah,
a nice crowd of people. We all get one song, but everyone's like together. You know what I'm saying? So I get you in the sense of like, as far as like, you know, being animated and like more energy. It's more like, even me, like sometimes I'm like, I want to be like animated, but I'm like, okay, like it's more like be about the
yeah,
song, be about the crowd, be about, you know, what's going
mhm,
on in the moment. So I completely
yeah.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you be turned. Like I like when people do the turn stuff. I want to be turned. Like y'all know, y'all see me all the time. I want to dance. I love to dance. So I love when like you perform or like other people will do like rap songs or like Noah. Noah, you're like so turned. Like you got it.
Thank you.
So I love that because I'm like, okay, yes, like a little bit more energy, you know. But you know, I can't pull like a full, 7-minute choreo time, everyone. Like, so it's more
Yeah, right. Yeah.
okay, guys, dancers come out. Like, I can't do that like usually for Guitar Merchant. So I love that you brought that up because yeah, like I enjoyed doing that other performance because I really love to put on a show. Like, and I
Right.
feel like, Guitar Merchant is more intimate, like you guys said. So it's more like, acoustic vocals, but like, when I envision myself, being on tour and all these things, like I love to dance and I love putting on like an entire production of like everything. So
I
I
was
love
just
to
about
get the chance that.
I was just about to ask you, when you do your choreography and stuff, are you the one that's putting together the whole production? Like, is
Yeah.
that you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Oh.
so I know I'm like period no. Um so for like my birthday performance, I did kind of like a mixture of both because like I said I did like a cover of like this live performance of Melanie Martinez from her tour. So like the first part of it I choreographed and I like put everything together. So I choreographed to where I'm like okay, like to my dancers because I have two friends that dance for me. So I'm like, hey guys, like I want you to do this and when I have the mic here, we can do this. So like I choreographed all of that in the beginning. And then the second part of the performance, I just loved like the original choreo. So I did it. But usually, yeah, like I'll choreograph the whole thing because like as soon as I see it in my brain, I'm like, okay, I need this, this, and this. And I want, this person here and I want this, this, and this, So yeah, I'm definitely big on like being hands-on and like, even for me, even since I was like little, I could like imagine my tour in my brain, like this color, this type of thing, these outfits, like it's like the whole thing for me. And then Hamilton, to answer your question about like, the performance that I like really realized, I wanted to like do this or whatever. So it would be the first open mic, which is where you interviewed me, Noah. It was the first performance back. Like I said, I hadn't performed in like 6 or 5 years. And I actually have like a history with Guitar Merchant because in high school, I used to perform at Guitar Merchant all the time. So the owner, Phil, like that's why, we're locked in. Like I love Phil. I love him so much.
Feels
And
great.
isn't he great? Oh,
Yeah, feels great.
He's such an angel. And for a long time, which I think happens with so many artists, you just like don't really believe in yourself or you don't think you're as good as you are. And so when I was performing in high school, I never was like how I am now. Like I'm a singer, I'm an artist. Like now when I speak to people, I introduce myself as a singer. Where like before I would just be like, oh, I kind of sing like a little, And Phil was one of those people that was like, Devin, like you should totally be doing this and all these things. And so I never like really had gotten there. So when I came back, I remember that first night, he was like, oh my God, because I hadn't been there in like 5 years. He like couldn't believe I was there. And he was like, please tell me you're performing, So there was already so much love there. So I was kind of already being like, okay, maybe this is like what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I did I Love You by Billie Eilish. I did a cover of that. And everyone like loved it. And so many people came up to me and was like, that made me cry. Like the emotion and like all these things and like just the feeling of performing and it had been so long and I was like yeah like I can't pretend that like this isn't what I want to do type of thing because I was for so long like like whatever like I don't really sing, I don't really care type of thing. So that was definitely the performance where I was like okay, like let's do this thing, whatever happens and I'm just gonna like jump right into it, like I said, jumping off the diving board. So it was definitely that first performance back that was like okay, like I have what it takes, like we're gonna do this, So yeah, I
remember that first performance too. I remember.
Yeah, me too. Really I remember that.
I actually remember you saying like I haven't done this in a long time, and
yeah.
One thing what's funny actually, like I mean you did great on the song, like you did really good. The one thing I remember though was I was thinking to myself, I was like, you have great crowd control, like because like it was like the like when somebody got it. But they like, like they downplay, like I ain't did this in a long time. Just bear with me, and then get on stage and just kill it. This is what I was watching. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, is this part of like? This seems like it's part of the performance. Like this doesn't seem like she's actually shy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the crowd control is great, and every time you get on stage, like you cracking jokes, you really get the crowd engaged, and then you bring us in with the song. It all adds to it. So, kudos to that, because I pay attention to crowd control and how people can, if the crowd is feeling you or not, if the crowd is paying attention, if they're on their phone. No, I kind of do pay attention to that kind of stuff, at least for me.
Oh yeah, and I couldn't agree more too. I wanted to add on for the guitar merchant aspect, I like how it helps how it's like a smaller space. So like you guys said, it keeps people intimate and easier to talk to each other. So that's why we always like to have events there. So that first performance that you just mentioned, Dev, I totally remember that. That was the first time me meeting you too. So that kind of it's easier for me to remember. And it was a great performance. And I'm sure you killed it at this past one too. I wasn't at, but yeah, that's good. That's great to hear. I love shout out Guitar Merchant, shout out Phil. Love you guys. Come. I love both of you guys coming to events like regularly as well. So we deeply appreciate that. Just want to say that real quick. But so you said that you performed part of your new EP, Bittersweet. I wanted to ask you, is there a favorite track that you have on that project if you were to choose?
Oh man. I love it so much, and I think it's so hard always this question, because it took me like 10 years probably to really put this project out. Like some of the songs on there are like 10 years old. But I think I might have to say Let You Know, because that was actually the first song I ever wrote in my entire life, when I was 16. So it was the first song I ever made. And it's gone through a lot. I feel like with me, I feel like it's a song that's kind of been through all these phases, because the version that's on the EP is not the original version. And I actually got the chance to record it in a real studio with like an engineer and like everything. And that I could live in the studio. I could sleep there and pitch a tent. Like I love it. It's so much fun. And so yeah, I think I might have to say that. I love all the other songs a lot as well, but like the production's really well, and I had so much fun recording it. And like I mentioned earlier, I think I sometimes struggle with like actually having fun and like remembering that it's supposed to be a fun aspect. And so I love that when I made that new version of it, it was fun, and it ended up being really, really good and like beautiful and stuff. And so, yeah, I probably would say Let You Know, because it's the first one. I think, the first of anything is always really sentimental, but I think I got lucky that the first one was a banger. Like, like this was the first song. I'm like, period, so I'm like, I love it for that it was fun, but I also, it gives me like confidence as well. Like, wow, this is the first song that I ever wrote. And like over the years too, I never changed the lyrics or anything. The song is how it was when I first wrote it, so I really love a lot of the songs, and I feel like my favorite changes, kind of day to day or whatever, but definitely Let You Know. It's such a special, it's my child. So yeah, I would say.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite too. When I listened to your project, it was that, and I liked Monsoon too. The production on both of them were really good.
Justice for Monsoon. I love that one.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up just now about like keeping that song for a while, because I remember seeing this video for like a few days ago where it's like I think Billie Eilish like just recently released a song that she wrote at like 8 years old or something when she was super young.
Yeah.
Like, so and like it's crazy. Yeah, so it's like you can't. Yeah, no song has an expiration date. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something. Any of you creatives or artists like watching this right now, it's good for you to know that. So just keep it going.
Also too, like especially with Let You Know, like this is the third time I'm releasing that song. Like I released Let You Know in 2015, like when I first wrote it on Apple Music and Spotify, and then I released it again in like 2022, and then I put it on the EP and re-released it again. And all three of the versions are different. So like there's the first one, was like the very first recording. The second one was from the studio vocals that I had done, but like it was kind of mixed differently. And then the one that's on the EP is like completely remastered and different. I mean, other people, we're artists, so I'm sure you guys could tell the differences. Another person probably thinks it sounds the same. But yeah, like you said, there's no time limit at all. Like I released that song 3 times publicly.
I have songs from like 2019 that I'm like, yo, like I kind of want to like, I mean, you know, remix, if you will. And I like now I'm thinking about it. I'm listening to you. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to go back into the vault because
Do
shoot,
it. Because also
I really
too,
like
like
those songs.
nothing's
Oh
real. Like
yeah.
it's a simulation. Like do what you want.
Mm,
Like truly, like do whatever you
right.
want. You
You
know.
know, I'm learning that a lot about music right now, especially after this rap beef and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of a facade, man. Um,
Yeah, for real.
it's you know you're selling a product at the end of the day to the audience, and so
Yeah.
you have to sell to the audience, you have to appeal to the audience. And I mean, like, you're right, all of this stuff is just like it's low-key make-believe, and we just put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Truly.
I'm recognizing.
Yeah. So do it. We support you.
Hey, I'll take
Hell
that.
yeah.
I'll
Hell
take
yeah.
that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I've been coming across some songs I recorded like a few years ago that I'm like, let me re-record this part. I'll just do it again. You know. So
You
yeah,
know,
I
yeah.
I'd be recollecting. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
good
Especially
to.
being, you know, a perfectionist, and you hear something and you're like years later like, I could have done something different.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
go back and do it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly, man. We got our whole lives ahead of us. You know. So there's
Yeah.
that,
Do it.
and then so that's good that you have your first project out. Congratulations. I'm sure it's doing great. Um, do you have any upcoming ideas for any projects or anything at all like that?
Yeah, it's funny. Another cliche of like, an artist, I never stop working and blah 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 blah. I'm definitely someone that's always like on a hamster wheel. I feel weird being stagnant, which is probably not the best thing because you need to rest, and rejuvenate, especially, after releasing stuff.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
but with Bittersweet, I actually wanted because it's an EP, right? And so I wanted all those songs originally to be my like a part of my debut album, but because all those songs they're really good and stuff, but like they're in all of these like areas of my life that I'm just not in anymore because it's called Bittersweet. So the beginning part is like the really like sad and like real stuff that I went through, and like the end part is kind of like the sweeter stuff or whatever. And so I found myself like forcing the songs on the debut album, and I was like, I'm not this person anymore. Thankfully, I'm in such a happier place, and I know who I am and all these things. And so I was gonna have the debut album with all of the songs from Bittersweet, but I was like, I need to release these songs and just like kind of let them go. So I'm working on like my debut album now because I wanted all of those songs to be on the album because I was like, they're good songs and people love them. But I was like, let me just give them their own separate thing and just let them go. And I think, me letting it go is now going to make room for the new and young and new and you. Anyway, no, but it's going to make space for the new and the good, So I'm definitely working on like a debut album, and I'm just going to take my time because I mean, it could be two years. You just never know, and it could be the best thing ever. But I was like, let me release these songs, and then let me really take my time and just make an album that I'm so proud of. And you only are gonna have your debut album one time. So I was like, let me just release this
Mm.
EP. Hold everyone over because I'm just really lucky. I have so many people that have been following me for years that have been like begging me to Devin, we need music. So I was like, let me get this out. And so at least that can be out in the world and, like kind of hold people over. But I'm not going to rush it type of thing. But I was like, let me just have this project be fun and, representative of where I am now. So definitely working. I'm always writing though. Like even if I wasn't trying to be a singer, it's very cathartic and therapeutic for me. I love to write. So I'm always writing a song. Like I could see a bird and be like, okay, we're jotting lyrics down. Like I just love to write. So I'm always writing. I actually went to college for writing as well. So I love any types of like any form of writing. So yeah, definitely I'm working on the debut album, but definitely like a slow burn. I'm kind of just gonna let it be what it's gonna be, and whenever it's ready type of thing.
I'm
Absolutely, and
glad
that's
that
how it should be.
I'm glad that you still put out Bittersweet. Now listening to the story, because even though you have grown and evolved, there are young women, or or women in general, who might still be where you were just at mentally. You know what I'm saying? Who might need to
Exactly.
hear that and get through that.
Yes.
And then when they hear your next album, they hear the evolution and they progressed. Now they're really in it with you. So I'm really glad you still were able to put that out, even though you felt like it should be separate from the album, and that's awesome
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you know, you're still telling your story, and a lot
Yeah.
of people, you know, are in different places in their life, and you just never
Yeah.
know.
Oh my gosh, I love that you brought that up because I have like my little fan base and like, all my people that like, I was doing like a lot of content during the pandemic and stuff, not on music actually, but I have this like beautiful community of women that just love me so much and I love them so much. And I'm very, very, very open and honest about mental health and all these things. And the first song on the EP, Girl, is really about like my struggles with mental health and like my self-image and all those things. And I have always been the person that's like, hey guys, I woke up today and I had an episode and I'm not feeling good and this, and this, because I know if I had that growing up, seeing someone be so transparent, like I wouldn't have thought like, I was so isolated with what I was experiencing. So that's exactly why I put out all of that work. And that's exactly what I will keep doing. Cause I just know that, there's still someone, like you said, that's where I was when I made Girl. And it's like, wow, like someone speaking so candidly about mental health and, how they feel about people and stuff. Like someone visibility is such a huge thing. It's so important, representation and everything.
Mm.
So yeah, that's exactly why I put it out, because I was like, when I was going through those things, I still was like putting myself out there and showing everyone like, hey, we're going through the same thing. And I want to be that type of person that's just open and honest. I mean, that's what most people say they love about me, is I'm just like authentically myself. I'm like, this is me, and like, oh well, so yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's exactly why I still released all the songs, because Girl is probably the most like really intensely like emotional song, and that's exactly why. And I'll always be so adamant about stuff like that, because there's people that are still in that place, and I know how I felt when I was there, and I wish I had someone that understood me in that way, so yeah, it's kind of just like representation and wanting to be there for someone, especially women, so because
Yeah.
my audience is mostly women, which I love. So yeah.
Oh
I ain't
yeah.
mad at that. Sounds good
Yeah. And
Women.
that's the way it should be. When you're making music, you got to find a way for your audience to connect with you, and vice versa. So I
Absolutely.
like how you try to make that connection and show your
Oh, yeah.
vulnerability and all that. So, and speaking of your fan base, what do you think is one thing that your fan base does not know about you?
Oh man, I'm an oversharer.
You're an overshare.
Man, total. Oh my god, I'm a yapper. Like, you guys have met me. I never stop talking. Okay, let me think. Something they don't know about me. Um, oh, okay. This is probably something a lot of people don't know about me. I guess it's two things. So if I wasn't gonna be a singer, I would be a professor. Because I'm very, very passionate about like education, and in the way of like, if I were to be a professor, I would want to like change how school is, because it's so about like authority and like, we're above you and that type of thing. And I just feel like as we all have grown up in the school system, especially being in America, like God help us all, it's so much not about learning, and learning is so fun. Like when you're with a group of people and you're like, oh my god, we learned this, and then you can like teach it to someone else. Like, it's such a beautiful experience that we have gotten like taken away from us in the school system, because it's like grades and scores and all these things. And so if I were to become a professor, like, because I really loved college, so I would want to teach college, I would totally just be like, this is a fun environment. Like, I'm not better than you because I'm a professor. I just went to school for longer. Like, kind of trying to get away like the hierarchy and like all the stuff. So I love education. Like, I was a double major. I have 2 degrees. I loved school, like straight A student, like annotating all night long. Like, that was me. I'm very, very big on that. So it would definitely be a professor. And maybe some of my fans like know that, but a fact most people do not know about me is I love geology, like the study of rocks.
I was gonna
Love me
ask
some
you.
rocks.
Okay.
Love me some rocks. I literally to this day like still have a rock collection from like when I was 10 years old till now, and it has like crystals, and I'm like, I know all the rock formations and all these things. I don't know what it is. I love geology. Like, that's one of my favorite things. I used to like dig for rocks when I was a kid. Love
Nice.
geology.
What's up?
So I think people know that I'm like a nerd or whatever, and that I like am passionate about education and learning and stuff, but I don't think anyone knows that I like rocks. So I still like rocks. But
Nice.
Geology, that's
Nice.
what's up. I was gonna ask you what class you wanted to teach too. I feel like geology is one of those classes where you really can give people like the facts of life, you know?
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
those were always the coolest teachers or professors that, you know,
yeah,
I can remember. The ones who like, yeah, they taught, but they also
Mhm.
gave you what's real, you know, and
Yeah,
they treated you like an adult, you know what I'm saying? Like they
exactly.
treated you like as far as, you know, critical thinking and challenging you to think
Yeah,
and holding you to be accountable and kind of stuff like that. Like those are the best like teachers and professors that I remember to this day. You know, the ones who actually cared. How about that? How about that? You know?
Yeah.
yeah,
Word.
and it makes me laugh because I would love to teach geology, but like I'm awful at math. So like I would never teach it because like I like this is a sedimentary rock. And then they're like, okay, so give us the calculations. Then I'm like, can't do any.
I feel
I'm
you.
like, so if I were the subject I would teach would definitely be English because I'm good at that. But my other degree is in gender and women's studies. I'm like really passionate about feminism and everything like that. So I would probably do a mixture of those. I would love to teach geology if it didn't have math, but like I was awful at math, like so bad. So I would love to teach it, but I'm not good at math. But so probably English because I really really love English. But yeah, so I'm a nerd. But some people know that maybe, but I really really love. I miss school actually. I graduated like 2 years ago, and I actually miss it.
What
Congratulations.
college you go to?
So I went to CSUN, Cal State
CSUN.
Northridge.
Okay.
Hey, whoop,
Not
whoop.
anymore.
Nice.
Northridge, hey.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, college
Thank
game.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think I should flex it more. I'm like, I have 2 degrees. I think that's kind of a flex, but
I
Oh,
think that
yeah,
that is a
absolutely.
flex. I think that's
That,
a big flex. Like,
that's
right.
definitely something to be proud of for sure. That's a big accomplishment.
Thank you
So
so much.
yeah,
But yeah, so I think
absolutely.
that's the unknown. I like rocks.
Wait, last question. This is like I just thought of this.
I love this.
What's your favorite rock between metamorphic, sedimentary, and igneous?
Oh my god, the fact that you just said all of that to me.
Yeah.
Oh my
uh-oh.
god. Okay.
They now
I
y'all speaking a language I do not know. No, I was
oh
kidding.
my god.
I know about sedimentary rocks.
I'm like this. Okay, I think I would say sedimentary because I think it's so cool that it's just nature. Like it just keeps forming over and over again, because of erosion, like the sand and everyththing. That really always like fascinated me as a child. So definitely sedimentary. And I can't even believe you just said that to me. That just like scratched my brain. So lovely. But yes, definitely sedimentary because it's just cool. It's just nature doing its thing. And then, over time it just keeps like layering. I don't know. I think it's super cool. So yeah, I love
Hell
sedimentary.
yeah. Hell yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I just remembered that because I took a geology class in college too, so that kind of reminded me the categories a bit that you brought it up. So
Learning
yeah.
is fun. Like they take it away and make it so like militant, but it's so fun. I
Oh
love to
yeah,
learn. Like it's fun.
absolutely. And even if it's just like a little thing, even so
Yeah,
yeah, we all like learning. So yeah, I love
fun.
that.
So see,
Hell
I have
yeah.
a professor, but I'm a singer, so
well, Hamilton, do you have anything else you want to ask Dev before we wrap things up here?
I would say probably one more question I got for you, Dev.
yeah.
Do you have a dream feature? You know, dead or alive. If it's one artist that you could work with, who is it? I'm very curious.
Dang, just one. Oh, okay. Well, okay, I'm sure everyone's probably thinking I'm gonna say Ariana because of my ponytail, and that's my girl. Um, and I absolutely adore the woman. I also love Melanie Martinez, but dream feature of all time, which I'm the manifester, so it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. Is Pharrell.
Mm.
I love like if any of my friends like they're like Devin knows every single thing that Pharrell has ever done. I love Pharrell, and like he's also worked with Ariana on Sweetener. Like that project is insane. His front end like every single thing, and then the
I was
four
gonna ask you, you got
Bs.
a favorite Pharrell song?
Oh God.
That's tough. I know, right? That's tough.
Very tough.
Because then it's like categories. It's like favorite songs he's produced or like of his own songs, like
true. Whew.
But oh God, okay. Actually, favorite song he's produced, so maybe like favorite thing he's worked on is "Caught Out There" by Khalees.
Mm.
Listen to it, okay? The production is absolutely insane. It makes me want to scream. But yeah, Pharrell, like I admire his work so much, and so the four beats and like he's just a genius, and I love him. So I mean, I have a lot of like women artists that I love that I listen that inspire like what I create, but like I'm a manifester, so like I'm definitely gonna make an album with him. But Pharrell, like 100, I didn't even have to think about who it is. 1,010% Pharrell. I love Pharrell. So yeah, dream
He's
feature.
such a crazy creative. Like, oh my gosh, he's so creative. Like, I didn't notice till like a year ago, even until like his producer tag was like the stutter in like beginning of every beat that he made. Like,
Man, even when he like when he producing with the Neptunes, man, like he
Yeah.
was
yeah,
Pharrell has always been called, and like I just appreciate that he was able to segue from hip hop to doing like other pop stuff, working with Calvin Harris, Ariana
Yeah.
Grande. That's to me that's what it's all about, because it's like you like, even if you're a rapper, you're a music artist still, and so it would behoove you to like do more if you can. If you got the melodic bag, tap in.
Exactly. I love that you brought that up, because he really, like, recommendations for you guys of projects he's worked on is definitely Bangers by Miley Cyrus. I don't know if people knew that he worked on that album with her.
Okay.
Oh, what? Really?
Guys, I am obsessed with Pharrell. Like, I'm telling you. So Bangers, Sweetener, so good. Those are probably the main two I think people wouldn't think of, because they're like, oh, they're like pop artists or like whatever, but definitely Sweetener and Bangers. Like, Bangers I think he produced like half of that album. And same with Sweetener too. So tap in. But definitely I love that you brought that up, Hamilton. That's probably my favorite thing, is he can adapt to whoever he's working with. And I think that's a real strength in the music industry. So
I agree.
Yeah.
He's an absolute gem in the music industry. Crazy creative, like I just said.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm glad, and that makes sense that you like him, because you're always happy, and no pun intended. But
I'm like, live performance. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, totally. Like, I could totally see our vibes. Like, it's gonna be so much, because I'm a manifester, so it's happening. So it'll be so much fun when it happens. But yeah,
hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Love the ambition, Dev, and love the confidence. So with that, everybody, Dev has joined us as our first music artist interview on End Zone Emcees, and we would love to have her again in the future. Dev, please tell the audience where they can find you on social media and all platforms, etc.
Cool. Oh my God, I didn't know it was the first. Okay, period. Another milestone. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. Those are my main places. At All Dev Music, and a couple shout outs. I'm doing a solo show at Guitar Merchant on Tuesday, June 25th. I'm going to be performing for a full hour. So that's crazy. And then any other shows that I have coming up, I'll definitely let everybody know. But yeah, you can find all information for my projects, my performances, and everything on my Instagram. Mostly on Instagram, but I post it on TikTok as well. But that's at All Dev Music.
All right, awesome. Hamilton?
Yeah, man. Dev, thank you for joining us. Like I said, your brother gave me one of my first interviews. So like, it just literally, I'm watching everything full circle, and you're an amazing person. When I hear you speak, your energy, it just reminds me of your brother. So shout out Lil G, because that's my guy. He already know what it is, man. Thank you. So yeah, man, just continue to do your thing. I appreciate you for rocking with us and taking the time out of your day to chop it up with us. This was fun. I'm Hamilton James. You can find me on all platforms under Hamilton James. Instagram Hennessy Ham, TikTok 818 Hammy. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, and Dev, where do we start? I'm just kidding, but I'd love to have you on here with us once again. We love to see you, your ambition with your artistry and your creations. I can't wait to see the more of it, and it's crazy because you're just getting started, and it's just going to get better from here on out. So I'm more than excited to have you pursue your dreams and your ambitions and your creations. So can't wait to see what you're going to make of it. But I'm your host, Young and You, where you can find me on all platforms at Young and You, and then on Instagram is YUNG_N.U. Don't forget to also follow our End Zone Emcees Instagram page at End Zone Emcees, all in one word. We're going to start having more interviews. Once football season comes, we'll start talking about football, all that great stuff. So with all that, we love to have you guys tuning in to us. Thank you for watching. End Zone Emcees are out of here. Thank you so much, Dev, once again.
Yeah.